From eerie homes to the terrifying world of sleep paralysis. The next story introduces one of the most chilling figures people worldwide report seeing, the Hat Man. What makes this clip powerful is how trauma, environment, and culture converge, leaving us with an experience that's as psychological as it is paranormal.
Have you heard of the Hat Man?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Of course.
I think we watched that movie.
Of course. No, that was Babadook.
He was wearing a hat and he was a man. So different from the Hat Man. Appreciate that.
Since we talking paranormal activities taking place in the hood, I want to share my experience. Grew up going to my grandmother and grandfather's house on 63rd and Kenwood, just to give you some context. So not super hood, but not super safe, semi-hood. It was a little bit rougher back in the day before gentrification started taking place on that block specifically. Yeah. And also, my grandfather was a struggling addict. So there were moments when he would with strangers while my dad was asleep. And I didn't know until I put two and two together as I got older. He'd be like, do not come out this room for the rest of the night. Go use the bathroom now. Yeah, that happened a few times in my childhood. Mind you, this apartment we all stayed in, it always had an eerie vibe to me. And I thought it was just because on the weekdays, I would spend times with my mom. I would live with my mom and my grandma in the suburbs. So going from that contrast from a suburban lifestyle to a city to my hood lifestyle, would just be like, okay, this is different, but it just felt off. And it never felt off when we moved out of that apartment. I know now that was haunted. And like, I had my first paranormal experience there and it was very scary. So I'll fall asleep. I wake up. Mind you, there's no cable. It's only satellite television. You know, it's only about 7 channels. So I usually go to sleep with the TV on. I wake up. The TV is on like channel 32.1 and it's just a black screen. There's no signal for some reason. Also, I cannot move. I now know that this is sleep paralysis. And it's not my last time having sleep paralysis, but it's my first. So I'm like, oh, I'm 7 years old. I can't move. And the room is a tinted red. I kid you not. The room was a tinted red. I thought I died a bunch of hell. And I can't move. I can't scream. I can't do anything. A man opens the door and it's the handman, not the handman child. The tall man with the hat man. Yeah, I seen him. He had no eyes, no face, but he was there clear as day. And I just can't tell people this story because people think I'm crazy, but I kid you not. After that, I could not sleep in that room by myself anymore. My little sister had to sleep in the room with me. I used to sleep in my room with my dad and my stepmom. I used to be like, I'm going somewhere else. Like I used to skip out on weekends with my dad for like, do consistent time as a kid. And I was too scared to tell anybody because it was so traumatized. And I don't know, like my grandfather bringing all those different types of energies into that apartment. Who knows what spiritual attachment were with these strangers he was doing DRUGS with. He could have been having some spirits following him. You just never know. But yeah, that's something I would love to see. Like I would love to see another horror movie taking place in the hood because the hood is a hub for trapped spirits. It's a hub for negative energy. Sometimes it's just a hub for spiritual activity to take place. And I don't want to sound like one of them moon crystal, but it's definitely some spiritual works in the place with a lot of these gangs and stuff.
First experience in sleep paralysis is very bizarre. Yeah. The sleep paralysis.
Have you experienced that?
No.
I have. And the timing of it was fucked up. I'll tell the story later.
Okay, cool. All right, you need to leave it there. But I think sleep paralysis in and of itself as a 7-year-old is really terrifying. I think the thing is the circumstances you're in are like feeling like negative and painful and fear for all these different things. Like if you're going to have a night terror, things like that, you're like priming yourself for those things anyway. And then to feel like eerie throughout this like place all the time. I always wonder about that. When people feel that eerie kind of presence or something just feels off all the time in a particular place or space, I wonder what intuition that is for people because a lot of times they're right. Something happened there. Something else is not okay there.
Yeah.
But I don't know where that comes from.
And I appreciate the creator trying to differentiate between this new space feels eerie to me, but is it feeling eerie vibes just because it's different than what I'm used to? Or is it because there's like legitimate reason for it to be eerie or regardless of it being different, the environment itself is, I don't know, disheveled or dark or neglected. Yes, that environment, if the environment was like cleaned up and well lit and all that stuff, would it still feel eerie? What's contributing to this experience?
And he talked about some of the aspects of the hood where you feel like there's a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of sorrow, a lot of violence, how that would then affect what would show up in a given place or space. He went through what he experienced, period. He didn't talk about whether he believes in it, not believe in it. It was his experience. He didn't sit around and be
he identified it as the Hat Man.
Yeah. But like
he put in a name to what he experienced.
Yeah, but he didn't sit around and be like, the Hat Man is a real character, or is a real thing that blah, blah, blah. He was like, no, this is exactly what I experienced. This is what it looked like. This is what it was. there you are. It wasn't sitting around going, well, I believe in this stuff or not believe it. No, it's just, this is my experience.
Yeah.
Period.
And what I'm wondering is, like you mentioned, and like the creator mentioned, he was exposed to drugs in the home at a young age,
Yeah.
strangers coming in with
Yeah.
drug use in the home. I'm wondering, is there some trauma there that's contributing to his experiences?
Yeah, that's my immediate fear too.
Yes, just like my past client patient
Yeah.
that I had worked with. And then particularly because he was experiencing that sleep paralysis, you may feel like you're awake, but you're not sure if, but you may not actually be awake.
Yeah.
And so you might still be asleep and very lucid and having like weird experiences.
True.
And then even if you are awake and you're saying like, no, I am awake and I'm seeing this thing, I'm also wondering, you identified those strangers coming in and out of the home.
Yeah.
Was this just a stranger and it's dark at night, dark shadows, you can't see their eyes or face?
May have been wearing a
Or
hat
were they wearing a mask?
or a hat.
I don't know. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that these are all the questions that this person has been like
As a
wondering
7-year-old, how do you
since
process that? Yeah.
7. And this person looks like what, into their 20s now?
Yeah.
Still their mind is still, it's not only fresh in their memory, but still trying to understand it
Well,
and come to terms
well,
with
what's
it.
interesting, like our brains sear the most intense moments
Yeah.
into our brain. Doesn't mean you remember
Yeah.
it accurately, just you remember the feeling.
Yeah.
And so if it's the worst fear you've ever had, if it's the worst guilt, the loss, that's why people, for example, chase the first time they've ever used, because they can't achieve that same level of high in which they felt that first time.
Right.
Like a lot of times that's where we chase that moment, because that's when our brain goes, whoa. And so it's interesting that it seems like that first moment for him is something that he's continued to think about
Yeah.
thereafter.
Yeah.
So-
And that's just very natural for us to do as humans.